yeah, again, Hugo, great having you. I'm a big fan of rap. And where are you tuning in from?
From LA. I'm usually in New York, but I'm in LA this week.
Oh, you usually are in New York. Okay, great. I know
Yeah.
somehow I thought you were in Paris or somewhere in France. Okay, cool. So I guess let's just get started. And I guess, by the way, one last point, I just want to say for the attendees, there's a poll where I just want to ask sort of what people's background or knowledge is about RAP. If you've heard about it before, if you've used it, etc. But the point a little bit of this webinar, as I mentioned to you, Hugo, is to sort of be a source for people to go to forever to just learn about this protocol. So I guess first question is what is the purpose? Like why have such a protocol that connects the Ethereum blockchain to the Tezos blockchain, or more specifically allows you to have some analog token on the Tezos blockchain that represents an ERC20 token on the Ethereum side?
Yes, so to answer this question, just to take a step back and the reason why we build that. So the ambition behind Bender and what we want to build in the, let's say in the medium term, is like a full-fledged DeFi ecosystem on Tezos. Right? We want to, like what we have on Ethereum, we want to have it on Tezos, and we want to build it essentially. So, you know, like AMM, decentralized lending protocol, synthetic asset protocol, you name it, like this is what we want to build on Tezos. So looking at this problem, the first thing which is missing, let's say, is the assets, because you can build the best, like before RAP, you know, you could build the best protocol, but you didn't have like the breadth of asset and that you have on Ethereum. And the reason why they're here is mostly because, or thanks to the ICO bubble in 2017. So we're like, okay, so how do we solve that? Because we're not going to create new assets from scratch on Tezos. So let's just bridge Tezos and Ethereum. And so that was the starting point of RAP, to allow people to bridge assets and incentivize them to bridge their liquidity from Ethereum over to Tezos. So that's the reason why we built that. And that's kind of the stepping stone of any healthy DeFi ecosystem, is to have the assets and the liquidity. And so that's why we built RAP.
Right. And I guess for now also there's some added benefit in the sense of dealing directly with some of these assets on Ethereum is also you have very high gas fees, and at least for now, thankfully, the gas fees on Tezos are far lower. So if somebody just does want to move around or trade ERC20 tokens, doing it on the Tezos side would be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so how does it work? I have maybe some ERC20 tokens, maybe it's even Ether, I guess it would be wrapped Ether. So you have the analog, you have Ether as an ERC20 token, let's say on the Ethereum blockchain. And if that is confusing to people, then just think of some other ERC20 token. I don't know, AAVE,
let's take DAI, for instance.
Yeah, DAI, okay.
So, so the way it works, very easy. Like there's two levels of understanding. So the first level of understanding from a user perspective, if you want to, like, let's say you have 1,000 DAI on Ethereum, you want to use them on Tezos. Well, what you do is that you connect on tzwrap.com. You go on the app, you just connect both your MetaMask wallet and your Temple wallet. You say that you want to wrap 1,000 DAI, you click on a button, you wait for an hour, and then you have like the wrap DAI in your Tezos wallet, and you can use them. So that's you know, from a user perspective, we've tried to make it as simple as possible and as intuitive as possible. You just go on the app, you wrap your assets, you wait, and then you can use them. What happens behind the scene is a little bit like it's more complex.
Yeah, we'd love to get into that too.
So behind the scene, what happens is that the starting point is for a user to send their DAI into a deposit contract. So that's what happens when they do the first click, when a user does the first click on the app. So you send 1,000 DAI to a deposit contract. This deposit contract is a multi-sig contract. And the people that have keys of this multi-sig contract are called the quorum, the signers quorum. And in this quorum, there's 5 signers, 5 entities, which are identified, which are well-known entities in the Tezos community. And the role of this this quorum is to make sure that however many DAI there are on the deposit contract, we have exactly the same number of DAI in Tezos. So they maintain the peg between Tezos and Ethereum. And what they do,
so I mean, I understand, well, maybe I'm jumping ahead here, but so for this deposit contract on the Ethereum side, you say it's a multi-sig contract, but in theory, is it possible to have that contract without any, even with a quorum, that no one could change that contract at all? Because I guess you could say that those tokens, those, let's say ERC20 tokens, are locked there forever unless I see. You actually do need a quorum in order to release them for the unwrapping
exactly.
side.
Release, and we're working on ways to like make this quorum bigger and with better incentives. But right now, like the trust is on the quorum, that's for sure. You need to trust the quorum, and that's why we've taken like only entities which are clear, clearly identified, which are trusted in the Tezos ecosystem, and so on and so forth.
Right. So who is part of that quorum?
So there's us, Bender Labs, we have Matfish, we have Baking Bad, we have Bacon Rolls, and we have Luke Youngblood's entity, Blockscale.
Right. So I guess to elaborate, Matfish, that's a team that created the QuipuSwap exchange and the Temple wallet. So they're a very reputable team in the Tezos space. And Luke Youngblood has been around as well. I believe, well, is he still an employee of Coinbase? I know for many years he was.
Last time I checked, yes. He's behind with Kiefer and team, like they're behind Colibri, which is the first algorithmic stablecoin on Tezos. So that's
amazing.
They've been big contributors in the ecosystem.
Yeah. Okay, so you have this quorum, you're depositing it onto this contract, and then this quorum, I mean, how do you then collaborate in terms of issuing the tokens on the Tezos side then?
So that's part of the role of the quorum. So whenever, like the DAI are deposited into the contract, there's a transaction which appears. This transaction is picked up by the quorum on the Ethereum side, this this blockchain transaction. And the quorum will then craft a minting transaction on the Tezos side and sign it with their key. Every signer signs it with their key. When it's done, they put it on APFS, which is a decentralized file system. What happens after that is that the user, they don't do it when they use the app, they don't do it, but like that's what happens. They pick up those signed pieces of transaction and they put it as an input in the Tezos minting contract that will mint the assets. So the core, so just to take a step back, the quorum picks up the transaction. Every signer crafts a minting transaction, signs it with their key, puts it on a decentralized file system. Then the user picks 3 of those 5 signatures, inputs them into a Tezos smart contract. This Tezos smart contract checks that the signatures are valid, that they're all saying the same thing, so that we're sure that we have at least 3 of 5 governance on the minting process. And
but this part is obscured from the user. The user is not actually seeing or going through, right?
It's one click for the user. It's very easy. And so then what happens if everything goes well? We have a minting contract on Tezos, and it just mints the asset and sends them to the user. So that's how it works.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then obviously, I guess you have the reverse. If somebody now wants to take those Tezos, those wrap tokens, and get back their original ERC20 tokens, there's some almost like a reverse process to that.
Yeah, exactly. The reverse process is the user sends their token are burned, the wrap token are burned, and then after that, the quorum picks up this transaction and crafts a release transaction on the Ethereum side, Same thing on IPF. All the transactions are crafted, signed, put on IPFS. The user then picks up those bits of transaction, inputs them on Ethereum, and it releases the coins.
Gotcha. Very cool. So now the other part to this is I want to talk a little bit about how users, you have your own token too, the wrap token, and how that is distributed among, I guess maybe you want to talk a little bit about, why even have a wrap token and how that gets distributed by using the wrap protocol.
Yeah. So the reason why we have a wrap token, like the first one is that we want, right now, Bender, we're very involved into operating the protocol and making sure there's upgrades and making sure and fostering the community and all that. But I think down the road, what we want for this protocol is to be a community good, something which is governed by and for a community of Tezos DeFi users, or like people that use users of the protocol. And so the best way to align everyone is to have a governance token, which is issued to the users, to the main stakeholders of the protocol. So that's why we have this governance token, is that down the road we want the community to be responsible of wrap, not Bender, so much. So that's the reason why. The way it works, well, tokens
I will add, like, it just seems like, I know over the years people would come up with reasons to justify having a token, legitimate reasons. So like, as you explained, that there is a utility aspect to having the token. But it also just seems like in the last year or two that really almost there is a strong almost user desire for whatever platform or application that you're very excited about whatever you use, to have some kind of part of it by having a token. So in that sense, it's a little bit, the same reason why people like owning stocks, whether or not you actually vote and how much power you actually have in that public company, but there's value in having those, stock certificates. So I don't know. This is maybe just my feelings. I don't know how universal this is, but it definitely seems this way, that people really appreciate just having something that represents the product or the tool that they really love. And then it has like an additional benefit. It's almost like it feeds on itself, like it helps bootstrap itself, because now that people value the token, it actually helps the platform achieve greater usage, and then thereby being more useful. So you're almost helping bootstrap that kind of getting some critical mass on the platform.
100% power to the user. Like, as a user of a DeFi protocol, you have it's so easy to fork a DeFi protocol. You just go on GitHub, you take whatever and you release it. So if you don't have, if as a protocol you don't have a token, and you're keeping the value which is created to yourself, well, you put yourself at a great risk of being it's forked, and Uniswap and SushiSwap showed that, and I think that's a big learning for the whole community. And it's good for users, because like users, they have the power, which is like they can choose which protocol they use, and that has to be there has to be some kind of financial incentive to use a protocol and to be a part of it. So I agree, it's a big trend that is going to continue, I think.
Right. So I guess getting back, how then are the wrap tokens? I guess maybe you want to talk a little bit about the tokenomics, how many there are, how that gets split or distributed every week or so.
Yeah. So basically, wrap tokens, there's a distribution schedule that makes it so that wrap tokens are distributed after something like 350 weeks from the start.
Has the first distribution happened yet for the users?
Yeah, it happened this week, actually.
Okay.
So every week we distribute tokens. We distribute less and less tokens over time, because we want to incentivize people to use the protocol early. And so tokens are distributed weekly. Of this weekly allocation, a part of it goes to users of the protocol, so people that wrap. If you wrap, one DAI, if you wrap 1 cent of a token, you still get your pro rata of wrap token. Number one. Number two, a part of it goes to the quorum, and that's very important because the quorum are an essential part in making sure that the peg is maintained, that the protocol works well. They're the, let's say the gatekeepers of the protocol. So it's important that they're incentivized for it to be a success. And a part of it goes to a dev pool that today Bender Lab uses to, to incentivize community managers, to incentivize the team that is working on that, to do potentially marketing and airdrop, like things like that help the protocol grow and help it live.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I don't know if you have any kind of, maybe this has been brought up before about having some hackathons or supporting additional, and this maybe something we'll talk about in a few minutes about future tools and developments using wrap, and whether or not it's thought about using some of those, those quorum tokens to fund that. Or when I say that, I mean like having a hackathon or something like that.
So we actually did that. I'm glad you bring that up. So, one thing that we realized, and that's the beauty about open source and crypto, it's like it's very iterative. And one thing that we realized very early, like something like 1 week after launch, is that we needed to put a liquidity mining program out there for wrap tokens, because we quickly realized that we thought our initial assumption was that people would generate liquidity pools on QuipuSwap, would add liquidity, and there would be something happening, but it was not the case early on. So we say, okay, we need to incentivize that, and we need to make sure that we provide the right incentives for people to create liquidity pools. And so what we did with the quorum is that we said, okay, let's take a bit of the tokens that we're going to earn in the next few weeks, and let's just put it out there for a liquidity mining program. So, in something like a week, in a few days after.
Hugo, I just want to interrupt for a second. It's sometimes like when you're speaking, there's like a little sound after effect. Yeah, it might just be the wire somehow interfering. So maybe you pull it. Yeah. I mean, that maybe.
Because I know there's works outside of the house.
Maybe that's what I'm hearing. It might just be, it sounds like a little kind of scraping sound. Okay. So I just thought maybe if you pull your wire, like maybe if it's tangled, it might help. Okay, yeah. But anyway, continue. It's not too bad. So
so you're saying I can go outside and say to the workers to stop, but
no. I think more and more it's not so much the workers, because when you're not talking, I don't hear it. So I think it's some kind of strange echo of the mic. Maybe, I don't know.
No worries.
But anyway.
So coming back to liquidity mining, so like after a few days after launch, we realized there was a problem, and so we just took the tokens and we solved that. We tried to solve that with the liquidity mining program, which is still live actually.
Right. So that it's just for a short period of time. How long does it go for? 3 months?
It's something like 3 months.
Like right. So with this, again, to reiterate, because I know I interrupted you, by providing liquidity on QuipuSwap with your wrap tokens. So essentially you have to go onto QuipuSwap, which is, for those that aren't familiar, it's just a decentralized exchange for Tezos, AMM. So you're providing two tokens or two assets, a comparable amount of each, and then based on the percentage that your percentage compared to the overall pool for that particular asset, you get distributed, pro rata. So you have something like, what is it, 12 different assets or 14 different pools?
12 different assets.
12, okay.
Yeah, so we have a wrap, and we have like 11 wrap tokens as well. And so this is you can see that on our interface on tzwrap.com.
Okay.
You have a tab which is liquidity, and you can provide liquidity. You can stake your QuipuSwap LP token to receive more wrap token.
Okay, and just to review again, what would be the numbers again in terms of how many wrap? I guess how many are going to each of these 12 pools? I think it's based on every minute, every block.
It's based on every block. So essentially, the program lasts 3 months. There's roughly 900,000 wrap tokens which are, allocated to this program. So every pool has like 900,000 divided by 12, essentially.
Yeah,
tokens
so let's say, I don't know, something like 80 something thousand. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And then, it's just like every block there's a new computation which is on, and every block you can claim additional rewards if you've been staking there for, if you're staking your LP tokens there.
Right. So let's say, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but let's say there's, I don't know, 10 wrap that are issued. I guess it's probably less than that, but let's say 5 wrap that are issued every block for a particular token. Let's say the DAI, wrap DAI. So if the amount of wrap DAI that you added to QuipuSwap, let's say you added, I don't know, 5% of the wrap DAI that sits on QuipuSwap, you will earn 5% of those 5 Tezos that are issued every, I'm sorry, 5 wrap tokens that are issued every block.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's at the pro rata of how much how much tokens you have, and it's done at every block. So if you stay longer, you get more rewards.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to also reiterate, because I don't want people to get confused. So this is a separate program from actually earning wrap tokens from just simply wrapping ERC. So you earn wrap tokens by participating in the wrap protocol. That means by wrapping ERC20, you earn tokens that way. But now you're talking about an additional way, which is by providing liquidity on the QuipuSwap exchange, which is only going to be for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Right. So not to confuse those two things. And I know you get constant questions, because I see on your Telegram and on the Discord that people are constantly asking about the numbers, how much how many tokens are distributed, how many you get. So I guess, going back to the first method, by simply participating in the protocol by wrapping, those rewards are distributed every week, and it's pro rata based on the amount of how much has been wrapped for that particular token.
Exactly. So it's
okay.
It's a bit of a convoluted way to explain. It's writing it is not so straightforward, but explaining it is much easier. So essentially, we have we're distributing a share of the. So every week we distribute wrap tokens of this distribution. There's a part of it that goes to users. Okay, so we look at this user wrap allocation, which is distributed weekly. Essentially, for every wrap token, there's a sub allocation. So like for DAI, there's X wraps which are allocated. For MATIC, there's X wraps which are allocated, and so on and so forth. And so then per token, so for DAI, for MATIC, for BUSD, for WETH, whatever it is, we look at all the users that have wrapped, and at the pro rata of how much they've wrapped in cumulative, if they've wrapped several times, we just do the sum. We allocate the pool at the pro rata of how much they've actually wrapped per each token, and we do that for each token. So it's similar, like on most DeFi protocols on Ethereum, like Compound, AAVE, it works like this. There's an allocation per per token, so the weight, the comparative weight of like one token versus the other was kind of chosen at the beginning. It's something that we can choose to change if there's an input from the community, or if there's something which is really off. I know that right now the rewards are very high for like a couple of assets, so that's maybe something that we're going to look at to changing. Adjust. Yeah.
So, right. I did notice, I mean, I don't know if that some of the assets get rewarded twice of all the other ones. So again, it's only the amount that's been wrapped for that week. It's not like you're looking at the overall, let's say we're looking at MATIC token. So you're considering if this past week, I don't know, total of 50,000 MATIC has been wrapped, but you're not looking at the overall pool of maybe there was 100,000 that were wrapped over the previous month.
No, it's like really, it's a week per week view. So if you've wrapped 1 week, you get tokens.
Just for that week.
If you don't wrap the next week, you don't get tokens.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And I know people ask, I mean, this is the obvious question is like, if you wrap and then unwrap and keep doing that, you're still, you would earn for each wrap. So if I wrap 100 tokens and unwrap it and then wrap those 100 tokens again, it's as if I wrap 200 tokens.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been criticizing that, but it's a choice that we've made by design. I think it has a few, it has some interesting features. The main one being that it gives an underlying for the price of wrap, because like, you know, wrapping and unwrapping, you pay network fees, you pay protocol fees, so that costs you money, and so you can infer like a price of wrap for you know, like the cost of mining wraps somehow, you know, like Bitcoin price is not the mining cost of mining 1 Bitcoin, but it still gives like some kind of let's say rationale to the price, or at least a lower bound, and so that I think is interesting. The second thing is that by doing that, it increases the fees given back to wrap holders, because one important feature of wrap is that if you're a holder of wrap, you can actually earn a share of the fees which are generated by the protocol. And I think for the first months it was something like $120,000, which, you know, is quite substantial. If you look at an early stage company, you know, if we take wrap as a whole, as a company that does $120,000 of revenue in the first months, it's actually quite good, you know. So we're in this kind of context, and so it gives as well a real, like the fee aspect, the fact that, you know, fees are given back to wrap holders, soon to be wrap stakers. You know, that we're going to migrate to a staking system where basically you need to stake your token to get the fees. It creates as well like an economic rationale for the price of wrap, you know, which is like how much fees you can get by holding one wrap.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. So actually, that's something we skipped over. What are the fees to wrap? I forgot what that percentage is.
15 bips in, 15 bips out, essentially. Okay. Wrap tokens.
So like you're saying 0.15%.
Yeah.
Okay. And all of that goes to the holders, or that gets distributed to?
It's distributed. So same like it goes to holders / stakers, you know, like people that run stake. It goes to the quorum as well, and it goes to the dev pool.
Okay. And that, okay, I think, is it just, one last thing, just to clarify, is it like an equal, because I get it that the quorum holders, you know, have 10% of wrap tokens, or over time they'll get, so it's that it gets evenly distributed among all those wrap tokens, or is there some other kind of distribution where the quorum will get some other percentage versus if you're a non-quorum holder?
So
does that make sense?
Well, the allocation of fees, there's a proportion that goes to the quorum, which is different than the proportion that goes to the dev pool, which is different than the one that goes to wrap stakers. But like if you hold a wrap and you stake your wrap, and you get the same amount per wrap as anybody else. So
I see. Gotcha. Okay, that clarifies it. Okay, cool. I guess maybe we'll just do 1 minute. I just want to ask you maybe what is next for, I guess, what are you planning to do next? And yeah, what are the things that we can see coming from Bender Labs, or things that you need help with that you want people to get involved with?
Yeah, that's a good question. So again, our you know, kind of our vision for the next few months, next few years, is to build this DeFi ecosystem, which is which is growing on Tezos, but to bring it to a point where we can actually compare ourselves in terms of TLV to Ethereum. So I think that's our main goal. Looking at that, there's two strategies: being horizontal or being vertical. Horizontal being vertical being to, like, you have wrap, you do wrap v2, wrap v3, you add functionalities to wrap. Being horizontal being like, we have wrap, we're going to do another protocol which is going to sit on top of wrap, and then we're going to do another protocol which is going to sit on top of this protocol which is on top of wrap. So kind of building like more bricks and more playing Legos.
Man, so I'll have to have you back for many more webinars.
Exactly. So we're definitely on the second strategy. We still have work to do on wrap. There's still, we need to implement the staking contract. We need to implement NFTs. We need to think about having better quorum systems, which are things that we're doing and we're preparing for the next few months. But right now, and I don't want to spoil the surprise too much, but we're working on another protocol, DeFi protocol, which is different than wrap, which is going to have a different governance token, which is going to be different in its use case, but which is going to use wrap at its core. And there's going to be like a lot of integrations between wrap and this new protocol. So we're going to announce it soon, I think. But
awesome.
What we're going to do in the next few months is that we're going to release as much protocols as we can in their V1 or V2 version, so that we can actually build this ecosystem on which people can play, and then we'll optimize everything. So we'll build V3, V4 for all the protocols that we've put together.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, that sounds great. I mean, it's amazing you're thinking so many steps ahead, and somebody even commented, Sterling, how he loves the horizontal strategy. Very cool. That's how Binance won. Well, maybe they're kind of doing well now, but hopefully Tezos will overtake that. Yeah, let's just jump. There are a couple of questions. So let's see, on the Q&A side, Jeff asks if he's curious if there are any plans to encourage some liquidity providing for the tokens that are currently non-incentivized via the liquidity mining on QuipuSwap, because he says I guess, what is this, WCell? Wrap Celsius has no liquidity at all. So if there's any other ideas on that front.
So right now, I'm very aware that the liquidity mining program that we've put together is very basic, and I'm not going to say we did it to put out a fire, but we needed to act fast, and we try to act as fast as possible, and so that's why we have it in the current design. We're going to have to think about ways to incentivize liquidity on all the pairs. Whether it's through wrap, whether it's with the QuipuSwap, whether it's with other kind of incentives, but it's definitely on our mind. No set answers yet. There's a lot of things that we don't have answers yet to, but and we know that that we're going to have to find solutions. For instance, how to build a way to sustain the price of wrap, and not have people dump it as soon as they get it. Those are the things that are very much top of our mind. I cannot reveal too much because a lot has to do with our new protocol, which we're going to try to release as soon as possible. But yeah, awesome. We're aware of these problems. Nothing is perfect.
Yeah,
is
not
perfect, and we're it's an.
I mean, all the whole blockchain ecosystem is you could say that about blockchains themselves. A lot of work that needs to be done, even at the very base layer, level 1, which is happening. And so the next got one. Reinhard is asking, currently you can only provide liquidity pairs with XTZ on one side, but why can't you have liquidity on non-XTZ pairs? For example,
that's a question for the QuipuSwap team, for Madfish. So the way the design of QuipuSwap as this is similar to Uniswap V1, which is Uniswap V1. I don't know if you remember, was token to ETH or token to ETH. You didn't have token to token pairs. And that's the same thing for QuipuSwap. You don't have tokens to tokens pair. There's a base currency, which is a Tez, and you need to go through Tez to do that. So it's just the way it is. And I'm not sure where the QuipuSwap team is in terms of doing a
Right.
token.
Maybe we'll have the QuipuSwap team on next, and we'll save that question for them. Just quickly looking through the chat, it's just like a little bit harder to pull out questions. So if you posted it in the question Q&A side, that would be easier. Are there any charts for wrap? I think you did mention there's something on tzwrap.com, some kind of statistics.
So yeah, if you go on, I'm going to put the link on the chat actually.
Yeah, I think I put some link.
You go here, you have all the statistics for the protocol, which it's actually quite an interesting dashboard. So you have obviously the TVL of the protocol, which is at 3 million now. You have the wrapping volume, so how much volume is being wrapped through the protocol every day, and you have an evolution. And then after that, for every week, because we work in weeks, like the distribution is made in week, the distribution of wrap token is made in week, the distribution of fees is made weekly, so we work in weeks. And so for every week, you have two kinds of data. You have the ROI data, which is like how much wrap tokens you get per asset wrapped. So like kind of an ROI for wrapping, which is interesting. And you have a view on the fees, which are like how many fees have been paid per token. And so that gives you like an overall idea of how much the protocol is generating. And we do have a version that put out live, which is on a address by address, a view per address. We have if you have an address, we can like see actually your statistics and how many tokens you've generated and how many fees you've paid.
Oh, are you saying that exists already, or that's coming soon?
It's coming.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's very cool. I'm sure people will love that. And I'm not sure if this person, Leo, was maybe asking the chart on the price of wrap itself. I mean, I have seen that before on like Telegram, people asking where they can see kind of what the, I guess the XTZ to wrap price has been over the last, I don't know, 2 weeks, let's say.
Yeah, I think that's like I saw a link. I'm not sure. I need to find it. I don't have it with me.
Yeah,
but it's
sure
more on the QuipuSwap aspect as well, which is like putting the price from QuipuSwap QuipuSwap contract. Yeah,
makes sense. Okay, Hugo, thank you very much. This was very informative, and people did ask if this is recorded. It is recorded, and it will be up on YouTube shortly, probably later today. And as well, you guys mentioned we'll be sending it to you guys too, so it'll maybe be posted somewhere through the Bender side. So I would say in the meantime, people should join the Bender Telegram, Discord, discourse, all the yes, obviously it's benderlabs.io is the website.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, great stuff. Really excited what you guys are doing. Hopefully we'll have you back when you launch your next product. And also for everyone, again, go to blockmatics.io, and that's where you'll find the link to our YouTube, where you'll have this recording and find out about future webinars as well. Thanks everyone. Thanks, Hugo.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for organizing.
Yeah.